All right, so it is now time to get into another Q&A brought to you by Candid, and just to plug our group, we have now reached 500 members in the Humanist Report group on Candid, so I'm very excited about that. So let's go ahead and jump into the questions. Mike, are the debates becoming more and more pointless now because it is all a dog and pony show? What are your thoughts, and do you have faith and hope for Jill Stein becoming our leader of the free world? The debates are effectively useless. I still think you should watch them because I want people to be engaged as much as possible. But when it comes to Jill Stein, I mean, she didn't make it to the debates. She's still polling at less than 3% in average, and this is because a lot of polls are either flawed or just outright biased against her. So, of course, it's not impossible for Jill Stein to win, but it's statistically improbable, and let's face it, it's going to be Hillary or Trump. So as much as that hurts, it's not going to happen for Jill Stein, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote for her or that your vote is meaningless. I still think it's very important that we lend our support to Jill Stein. Mike, I guess a question I should have asked first is, have you ever lived outside of the USA before? I have not lived outside of the USA. I think it would be a fantastic experience. I would like to live in a country that doesn't have English as their first language, because I think just immersing yourself in that culture would force you to learn a different language, and I think that would be invaluable. So I would love to live in a different country. Hey Mike, are your social and political ideas based more on pure philosophy, the idea of how a system should be run, or based on personal experience in both good and bad systems across the globe? Look, I certainly have my opinion about, normative expectations of governance, how I want government to be run. I want it to be representative of the people, but I don't put my philosophy above everything. I look to empirical reality primarily. So if something works, like for example, if Finland's school system works, I want that. I want to implement it in the United States. So I do have a philosophy that kind of drives me, but if I see empirical evidence that kind of undermines that philosophy, then I'm going to err on the side of empirical reality, because I think that matters more than the philosophy itself. Mike, are you in the group that thinks we should vote for lesser of two evils? Because honestly, I'm starting to believe that a vote for Hillary is just as bad as a vote for Trump. Still wondering whether or not I should throw away my vote. Look, here's the thing. When it comes to the lesser of two evils, I do think that Hillary Clinton is probably the lesser of two evils compared to Donald Trump. But does that mean that I think you should vote for Hillary Clinton over Jill Stein? If you're in a deep blue or a deep red state, please do not vote for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. Please vote for Jill Stein. If you're in a swing state, then I think you should make that decision. I think that you need to look at the reality of the fact that your vote is more influential there. So you need to decide, do you care more about voting for Jill Stein or voting against Donald Trump? If it's the latter, then you should probably support Hillary Clinton because she does have the best chance of beating Donald Trump. But if you still want to vote for Jill Stein, that's your choice. Your vote is your choice. It's up to you. So I don't have an opinion on this. I think you need to make your own decision for yourself if you live in a swing state. But I will just say, please, if you're in a deep blue or deep red state, don't vote for the lesser of two evils. I really am not keen on this idea, because the lesser of two evils, if you keep voting for it, it's just going to get more and more evil. It's going to augment, and I'm not a fan, honestly. Does anyone here actually believe in the wage gap, or are we all on the same page that it's very manipulative and more of a fallacy? There is, in fact, a wage gap. Is it 77 cents or 78 cents? No, it's not. The actual wage gap in the United States is more or less 4 to 6 cents, and we don't even have evidence that this is necessarily due to discrimination. It may be due to other factors, but it's incredibly disingenuous to say we have this big wage gap, because that's not necessarily true. Now, the wage gap is a huge problem in other countries. So if you look to South America, the wage gap is actually like 75 cents in certain countries. So it's really, really misleading to say that in America. So I think we need to be clear, and we have to be factual, and that, yes, there's technically a wage gap, but it's not what people are making it out to be. And that's just, me being objective and reading through studies and articles about it. Have you seen the new South Park episodes? The parts about the election were so accurate. South Park has been therapy for me, because they're communicating exactly what I feel. You're choosing between a giant douche and a turd sandwich this election if you are voting for one of the lesser of two evils. South Park, I've been a longtime fan of South Park. I played the Stick of Truth. I am going to purchase what's the new game? The Fractured But Whole. So I love what South Park is doing with this election. I think it's phenomenal. So I want to take the time to get into some of your comments and your opinions about the debate that occurred last Sunday, because I think that we had a really long thread going on that was very insightful. So one person said, Trump won, but America lost. Jill Stein is still my choice. Couldn't agree more. This person also said Trump could have mentioned that Hillary was against talks with Iran, and it was Obama who got the Iran deal done. Hillary kept mentioning her website, but we all know how biased that can be. I could not agree more with you. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Overall, I'd say Trump did a little better. You know, you could certainly make that case, because I do believe that Donald Trump won if you watched my analysis, but I don't think it was by a lot. I thought Hillary Clinton won the last debate by a hair. I think Trump won this debate by a hair as well. So I think you could probably make the case in either way and be relatively persuasive. One person says, I feel like neither candidate surpassed the winning threshold. Trump used a lot of ad hominems, but I really got angry at Hillary blaming Russia and Putin for the leaks of her transcripts and whatnot. The no-fly zone in Syria, the platitudes, etc. Currently watching the debate analysis in my country. Greetings from down here, Mike. PD, congrats on your engagement. When's the wedding? Thanks so much. It'll probably be October of next year. That's kind of just the tentative date. But yeah, I agree with you. Whenever I hear Hillary Clinton or someone from her campaign blame Russia without addressing the substance of the leaks, I get so frustrated. It's just obnoxious at this point. Don't try to tell me who did it, okay? Just address the substance. But they can't do that, because what would their answer be? They have no answer, so they have to pivot to Russia. Hey, Mike, I actually think Trump won, believe it or not. The timing really helped with his recent scandal, I think, and he didn't come off as a complete lunatic, which sort of normalized him. And someone says, Trump over Hillary. I must say, though, that I can't stand either one of them. I think a lot of people agree with that sentiment that, you know, can't stand either one of them. Someone will say, well, Hillary over Trump, Trump over Hillary. But we're all clear that these are two historically disliked candidates for a reason, because they're terrible. So, you know, you're not far off from my opinion. So, look, that is all of the time we have this week for our Candid Q&A. I'll see you guys next week. If you would like to participate in our next Q&A, you could download the Candid app on iOS or Android and search for our Humanist Report group and join the growing number of people that have decided to discuss politics in there. So I'll see you guys there.